Hey there guys, welcome back to one of my tutorials, and today I'm going to do a tutorial on conditional formatting. Now what conditional formatting basically does is it applies a set format to a range of cells based on a given criteria, hence the word conditional. So for example, I've even put conditional formatting in cell A1. So let's say I want to give this a green background. Okay, nothing's happened. Why is that? Well, that indicates that there's conditional formatting at play. So if I go on the Home ribbon tab, conditional formatting, and then you can see a load of different types. If you come down here to manage rules, assuming there is a rule set up, you can see here what the rule is. Now if you can't see any, your current selection won't have any conditional formatting, but you can click this worksheet. You can see I've also got different rules set up already. I'm going to get rid of that one because that's not very good. So let's go back to current selection. So I'm saying if the length of A31 is equal to 31, I'm giving it this yellow fill with this red font. So if we do equals len, which is the length, how many characters, of A1, we get 31. So if I actually made this 32 by adding an S, you can see it's gone to green, which is what we manually put in. So it will manually put in if there's no conditional formatting applied. So yeah, we want len 31. If I take the length back down, we get that yellow with red. Okay, so I've made a little item price table here that I'm going to apply some conditional formatting to. Now again, you can see I've set up some basic rules. Say if it's green, it's less than £5. If it's yellow, it's between 50 and 5. Orange, between 550 £550, and red if it's more or equal to £500. So why have I got this in grey, might you ask? Well, it's actually quite hard to see the word yellow in yellow font on a white background. So I've actually applied conditional formatting to these 4 cells here. So I actually went into conditional formatting, text that contains, whilst having the range of cells selected. And then I said here, if it contains the word yellow, give it custom format, and then I went to fill and I give it this grey fill so I can actually see it. So as you can see, it now says it. So if I change this to yellow, yellow like that, it gets rid of it, right? Because it's looking for the word yellow. If it doesn't exist, it's not going to apply it. So as you can see, having just yellow is quite hard to actually read it. So I thought it'd be nice just to make it a little bit easier to read. And now I've got 2 duplicate rules. I'll just get rid of one and that should be fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, notice I got a text one, which I'll come on to at the end. So I'm going to highlight the range of cells that I want to apply conditional formatting to. So this is going to be the price cells, right? Because I've got my conditions here. I'm going to go into conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, and I'm going to go for a between rule. So I'm going to start doing it, I'll do it in order. So I want between 0 and let's go for, because we want less than 5, I'm going to go for 4.99 because I don't want to include 5 because that should be yellow. So I go to custom format, I go to, well, the fill tab, and then I'm going to pick up a green font. Okay. So as you can see, we've got milk, which is highlighted green, the price, because that's less than £5, and we've got a full English, which is a breakfast. That's less than £5 because it's $4.99. So again, with this still highlighted, I'm going to go for another rule because remember we need 4 rules essentially, 1 for each of these. So highlight cell rules again, between. So now we're going to go for 5 as the lower bound and $49.99 because remember we want less than £50. So I'm going to go again, drop down to custom format, fill tab, and then we want a yellow fill as such. So you can see that these items are like a sort of a low medium price now. So a mug, a t-shirt, a fillet steak, and a football. So again, with them highlighted, we're going to go to between, we're going to come here, we're going to say 50 is the lower bound and $4.99.99 is the upper bound. Again, custom format, put it in orange, okay. So we've got an iPad, Amazon Echo, laptop, and a MOT for your car. These are kind of a medium high price. Last but not least, we're going to do one more. Instead of doing between now, because it's just bounded upwardly, we're going to do a greater than. So I'm actually going to do greater than 499.99 because I want to include 500, right? Custom border, custom format, and then give it a red fill. So that's that done. However, you'll see down here, the item dodgy with price text has been highlighted red. So you think, why is that? It's text, not a number. Well, for some reason, Excel seems to think that text is greater than or equal to £500 in this case. So even if I had like one letter, it's still going to highlight it. It's a little bit annoying in this scenario, right? So what I want to do now, highlight the entire range still. I'm going to go back to manage rules this time. And on this final rule where we want greater than 499.99, I'm actually going to go edit the rule. And instead of having this cell greater than, I'm going to use my own formula to determine which cells to format. Now, you think, okay, so I need something that picks up whether it's greater than or equal to 500, but I also need it to be a number, not a text. Well, in Excel, there's a function called isNumber, which returns true or false. Basically, true if a number's input, or false if it's not a number. And now we're formatting values where this formula we input is true. So if we did equals isNumber on the cell, text would not get picked up because that's false. But then we also want the cell greater than or equal to 500. So we need two conditions here. So I'm going to use the AND function to group the two conditions, and AND will return true if both of the conditions are met. So I'm going to say equals AND, and then I want isNumber, and now because we're working with a range, we want to start with the first range, the first cell in the range, and we want to give it a relative reference. So if you press F4 3 times, so it's just D4 in this example, wherever your first cell starts, just have no $signs next to it. Close the bracket there, so that's the first criteria. So currently it will format, if it's just a number, it will give it a red fill, but we want greater than or equal to 500 as well. So I'm going to put D4, because that's the first cell, greater than or equal to 500. Now if I close that and OK that, you see text is no longer highlighted. This is what we wanted. So now I'm going to go on to a couple more things. So if I added something here, let's say I added a rugby ball. Oops. And let's say that's, I don't know, $14.95. You can see that it's not being picked up because it's not part of the range. So if I click in here, go to Conditional Formatting, Manage Rules, you see it's not actually in the current selection. There's no formatting applied. If I go back to this worksheet, you'll see that it applies D4 to D16. This cell is in the 17th row, and therefore it's not being applied. So as you can see, if we're going to keep adding stuff manually, it's not going to like it. So how can we get around that? Well, a good way of doing it, so I'll delete that, is actually make your table of data into an actual table. So if I go Insert, Table, C3 to D60, my table has headers, yep, okay that. You'll see it gives format, so it's a table, and also, if you notice up here, there's no sort of table tab. As soon as I click on the table, there's Table Tools Design come up. So that's when you know your selected range is within a table. You get this extra tab sort of pop up. So what I'm going to do now is come to Table Styles, click this drop down, just give it the light top left, none. I just like having it plain. But you can also see the end of the table by this little blue sort of triangle in the bottom. So this indicates the last column and row of your table. So this is my table, and I can click the entire row here. So what I'm going to do here is when I add the row now, let's say we wanted the rugby ball again, and then let's say $14.99. So as you can see, the conditional formatting now applies to this table. So if I keep adding stuff, it's just going to keep going through with it. So if I add a packet of Skittles for 60p, see that. But what you notice is as soon as I enter, I've got this green cell before I've even put anything. So let's say this was flowers, and let's say it's going to be £10, but we haven't put it in yet. Well, it's not going to be green, it's going to be yellow, but we don't want any colour here just yet. So that's happening because of our first rule. So if we go to this green rule, we're saying between 0 and 499 it's going to have this green format. And obviously it's 0 if there's no input, but that's still being picked up. So again, I'm going to go to Edit Rule, and I'm going to go to use my own formula this time. So I want equals and then I'm going to start with d4. I want that greater than 0, but then I want d4 less or equal to 5. So I've just put a basic rule saying d4, which is the start of the price column, I want that greater than 0, but less than or equal to 5. Oh no, less than 5, sorry, my bad. That's pretty bad. So I want it greater than 0 and also less than 5 to pick up in green. So as you can see now, we don't have anything, which is optimal. And I can keep tabbing to create new rows. And to delete the rows, I highlight the ones I don't want, can right click and then delete. Delete table rows. Yes, and then you'll see the blue triangle goes back up here, which is what we wanted. So we have successfully conditional formatted this. And we've also got text here, which we didn't want, but that's fine. I've took that out. So conditional formatting, manage the rules, and then I've used this and is number. Just show you guys one more time. I've got equals and is number d4, d4 greater or equal to 500. So that means, well, d4 is the initializer, so the first one in our table. So that's where it starts, and then it basically applies it relatively as you drag it down. Okay, thank you guys for watching, and I hope this has helped you with conditional formatting. Have a great day.